Aloha, I'm Captain John, and this is Think Ocean. In this episode, we're going to explore Saipan's great Western Barrier Reef. This is a nautical chart of Saipan, which is in the Western Pacific and lies at about 15 degrees north of the equator in the tropics. On the left side is west and the top is north. On the west side you can see the light blue. That is shallow water, coral, and sand that makes up Saipan's Great Barrier Reef. The reef is so big that we will first explore the southern end of the reef, as indicated by the red box. And our next video coming out soon will be a documentary on the northern end of the reef. This is a close-up of the southern end. The arrows point to hard coral reef, like this. And the X's are areas of sand and coral rubble with mixed vegetation, like this. The distance offshore in this area is about a half a nautical mile, as indicated by the red arrows. Now when I say explore, I mean analyze. In this video, we're going to analyze the overall health of the coral reef. And I would say the Great Barrier Reef of Saipan is very nice and it's pretty healthy. So let's get in the water and check it out. This view from the Think Ocean drone is along the far outside of the barrier reef. Shallow reef to the left and beautiful white sand bottom leading to open sea to the right. On top of the reef, many coral species thrive, including this colony of golden Silipora corals. I came upon this small sea turtle, its way to the surface for a breath of fresh air. At first it didn't notice me. Once it did, it swam off with lightning speed. This is a common red Acropora coral, sharing space with this small clamshell. In cracks and ledges along the reef, one can find small colonies of purple hydrocorals. These different Silipora corals thrive where waves meet on the outside edge of the reef. Small pieces of Acropora corals are common, a bit more on the inside of the reef. Red and golden Silipora corals share space on the outside edge of the reef. Flying in the Think Ocean drone along the reef's edge, the clear water allows views of red and golden coral clusters. This beautiful large coral head makes a safe refuge for small and juvenile fish. Green encrusting coral can be found where there is a great amount of water flowing and circulating. These globulous coral heads are very common. Small trevally, locally known as umilu, school on the outside edge of the reef. The top of the reef's edge is a beautiful place, full of red and golden Silipora corals. In the sand, along the reef's nooks and crannies, one can find these beautiful horned shells. We just explored the northern end of our area. Now, let's explore the southern end. As with the northern part of the reef that we just saw in this video, the southern part is full of red and golden Silipora corals on the edge of the outside reef. More sea turtles are found on the southern part of the reef, and spending a short time in the water, it is common to see several of them. the reef's edge, it's a little deeper as well, about 30 feet or 10 meters, and beautiful grandis corals are abundant. Anenome fish, known as clownfish, are mostly brightly colored and reside amongst the anemones. These colonies of anemones are soft and jelly-like. Anemones are carnivorous and feed on small plankton and small fish. By the slightest touch, they fire off a microscopic harpoon full of stinging cells. If you touched it, your skin would turn red, burn, and blister. This is one of the most famous symbiotic relationships found in the sea. Symbiotic meaning that both animals benefit from one another. Because of a protective mucus coating, clownfish are immune to the anemone's stinging cells. They make their home in the anemone's tentacles, protecting them from predators. And in return, the anemone eats the clownfish's leftover meals. Lots of coral species can be found on this part of the reef. And one of my favorites are these purple Pocillopora corals. Light blue azure Apropora corals fan out, occupying space with other corals. Blue blennies find protection amongst the coral heads. Pyramid shells are very common and graze on algae and detritus, keeping the reef clean and healthy. Now let's explore the inside reef, from south to north as indicated by the arrows and the X's on the chart. From the Think Ocean drone we get a good view of the inside reef. Shallow water with white sand and vegetation. The depth average is 3 feet and the maximum is 6 feet. By the way, that ship to the far left is my ship I was aboard that got me to Saipan. A lot of the area on the inside reef is dominated by low-lying seagrass. Probably the most predominant feature on the inside reef are 3 World War II American Sherman tanks, left in place after the Battle of Saipan, as American forces liberated the island from the ruthless Japanese occupation. Not all anenome fish are brightly colored. schools of yellow blennies find safety in numbers, lying low in the shallow seagrass. My favorite, horned shells. Here are 3 in the sand. Sunlight dances magnificently on top of this yellow encrusting coral colony. These blue sea stars are very common. The area thrives with them amongst many colorful species of algae and corals. Darting by and finding me a threat, I was amazed to see this school of aculae. One section I found this big area of rather large vegetation. This is beautiful purple encrusting coral. These are colonies of soft corals found on the inside reef. Soft corals, to me, were a good sign that the reef is clean and healthy, because soft corals have a very low tolerance for any, let's say, negative changes to the environment. Inside this hole of this rock is a worm. What you see are its feathery-like tentacles capturing microscopic animals drifting by. These trails in the sand lead to abandoned seashells that hermit crabs now occupy and make their home. It's a type of mobile home that they lug around with them. I'm going to end this video with a few Think Ocean drone shots and a small window view of the ship I was aboard while I was in Saipan. I've explored the entire southern end of Saipan's great Western Barrier Reef, and I found it to be healthy and clean. It was a joy to swim and dive there, and I hope you had a fun and educational experience watching this video documentary. From the Think Ocean headquarters, I'm Captain John bidding you a fond aloha.